So this is the third video, and I've went over some of the other things beforehand, but as much as I want to do this raw, if you know me, I shower every day. So I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to get a little more presentable, and as much as I showed you the raw, because that's my point is, we judge people based on what they look like and what their situation is, but you know the reality is that really has nothing to do with their recipe and what they're trying to do. Instead of paying attention to the message, we pay attention to what they look like, where they come from, what they do. Are they gay, straight, bisexual? Are they hell? You know, the thing is this, guys. When I meet somebody, I'll go up and sniff their ass, okay? And the thing is we judge people by what they do in their life, but yet the reality is we don't pay attention to their message. We discount their message based on who they are. So I kind of guess I had to use the Disney method. And if you know what Disney method was when he wanted to open up Disney World in Florida, Walt Disney knew that if people knew he was looking to open a park, they would jack the prices up on land. And the land back there was incredibly priced because it was swampland. And the reality is for many years, he purchased land and that kind of stuff under different names. Nobody had an idea. During that period of time, a lot of rumors started happening about Walt. And the reason why is because he was okay with it. The reality is he didn't really care about what people thought about him. And as you know, there was Walt Disney World back there. And the cost of land around it is, of course, phenomenal. I took a different approach. The thing is I need people to leave me alone. See, if you know me, I created SacramentoCondos.com. That was one of my websites I created. 3 of my best friends immediately went afterwards and created copycats. Not best friends, but they're good acquaintances. That was distrustful for me. The reality is I bought their URLs when they went out of business. But the thing is this, when I do something, people tend to copy me. And I don't mind that for a degree, unless, the thing is, if you know me, you know that I probably share with you. Anyway, I include everybody. And yet I realize I do that more than anybody. It just nobody else does it. Everybody's in it for themselves. So in the very beginning of this, I'm trying to lay out my whys, okay? But then I'm also trying to lay out some basics. Because I don't like to go back. I like to deal with something one time and go forward. In real estate, I used to tell people, get it right the first time so you're not going to deal with it later on. I just don't like doing the same work over and over again. So the purpose of this raw starting right now is to explain what I've already done. And then to basically allow opportunities for other people. So I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to get presentable. I'm going to come back. But basically my plan for today is this, is that I plan to cover all this as much as I can today, and you'll see why. It was the PITE Punch priorities, your brand, your model, my why and my goals, revenue, assets, my story, education, real estate ethics, reform, and organized, structure, sustainability, spokesman, sensational. That's my goal. And the thing is am I crazy? I'd have to be crazy to have sacrificed everything I did over the last 2 years. Everything I built over the last 20 years. But then I realized, you know what? It was worth it. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to start out with today in the negative. But because of my education of life, I dropped out of high school, got a GED, I went to college for real estate, but I didn't have a formal education process. You'll see that the best education is experience. And if you're one of my friends, my gosh, it means I think the world of you. So if I'm sharing this with you, I'm just, if you really want to know what I've been up to, go back on my timeline on my Facebooks. And by the way, there's several different ones. One of the reasons why was this. I didn't want to be tempted to go back and delete the bad from the good, okay? Because when we write a book about when somebody did something, we write the director's cut. We leave out all the horrible stuff. The thing is, I wanted it to be raw, and I wanted it to be real. And so at certain points, when I felt that I might be inclined to go back and alter history on my Facebook, I burned the boat, like Cortez. But what I did was this. I just made myself not able to access those profiles anymore. And I created a new profile. That's why you see different profiles. And the reason why is this. I needed to show that sometimes it's not the method that gets you to move forward. It's the madness. The madness sometimes has some kind of model to it. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for a lot of things in life. And let me tell you something. I'm grateful looking back that I had people in my life that made me matter enough to not give up. It wasn't anything miraculous. I think it was just enough people before me were enlightened enough to share with me their equations in life. Or I knew life wasn't perfect, and life happens. And life sometimes sucks. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes, I don't pray a lot. I talk to God a lot, or whoever's out there, purple penguins, whatever. But usually it's not in the way you guys do. Most of you guys have, or at least you say you do, you talk to God and, you pray. Sometimes I'm like, really, fucker? Okay? Are you really going to do this to me today? And the thing is this, he hasn't struck me down yet. The reality is I realized a long time ago that sometimes, if truly, think context about God being your parent, he accepts a lot of shit. I know I have in life, thinking back. But the thing is, that's why. They do it because they know better. They know you're just going to grow. They know you don't know any better, so they know, it'll be fine. And trust me. Oh, don't trust me. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. Being a parent, it is not fun. And yet I'll tell you, if you're a perfect parent, you are in denial. Okay? My thing is I want to be, instead of a father to my children, eventually I want to be dad. And I'll tell you, it's how kids use their context, their word. If they refer to their father, or their dad as their father, they don't have a good relationship. A father's a legal term, basically. If they say my dad, wow, or my pops, I'll tell you, that tells you they had a good relationship with their dad, And their moms, if they say my mother, probably not good, right? But my mom, or my ma, that means they have a deep, close personal relationship with their mom, okay? And I'm telling you, my experiences in life, I realized I could make them into something better because they weren't all that bad, Although some people would say, that was a failure and that close. No, the reality is they're all parts of different equations. And yet, I have to share with you my story, my backstory, because everybody has a backstory. So I'm going to take it really slow like that. And all I tell you today is do this. Get back in your own equations. Get back in your own lives. Stop worrying about other people's stuff. Unless you can help. Think about your participation in other people's equations. And if you can't contribute in a positive way, get out of that equation. And you'll realize that sometimes the factors in your equation that are affecting your life are third parties. You don't even know they exist. And that's why I actually literally got nerdy about all this and took it back to education. I think we're making things too complicated. We're not teaching kids to think for themselves. And yet, wait till you hear from the kids themselves. Because they want to have direction. They want to learn. They want to do good. And yet I'm still a kid inside. And yet I'm not ready to retire. I'm still in the middle. I have a lot of different personalities. And for those of you guys who know my history, it's not that I have multiple personalities, but I do. See, that's the thing in life. We literally try to simplify things and make things absolutes. When I say personalities, I had a work personality, I had a home personality. You have personality to deal with your wife during the day, during the night, and yet you can't actually how should I say, educate personality. Personality comes through character. Character gets developed through integrity. And if there's no integrity, you haven't even started that journey. You haven't even showed up for that race. So, I'm going to take a shower. I'll be back. For now, just call me the crazy one. Because I'm okay with that. Sometimes labels, you just have to innovate labels. Labels work pretty good if you kind of just don't care. The only thing you care about is yourself, which is the problem here. You need to move from a me environment to a we environment. See, I learned that a long time ago because I think I was taught that way. If you always think about me, you're only half a person. And you'll see how, I got nerdy, I got corny, I got catchphrasy, and yet I'm doing it because it's always been part of me. You just never knew it. I'm a very creative person. I wrote my first book, I don't know when it was. I had it somewhere around here. Never Waste an Elephant. But I wrote very early. I created my first video game at Rudder, James Rudder middle school with 3 friends. I'm tired of knowing the outcome of the equations. When you make things, you know the outcome. I want to actually literally not know the outcome. I want to see a movie and not know how it ends. I want to read a book and not know how it ends. And yet sometimes we need to get original in our storylines and our ideas. And we can get there. We just haven't even gotten there. Searching for intelligent life in space, well, let's start discovering intelligent life here on Earth. And so you're going to see how I took some risks and I got some epic rewards. But I used those rewards and paid them forward. So I bartered a lot of my creative ideas over the last 2 years. And trust me, there was a lot of them. And I used that to barter going forward. And yeah, I was very disappointed when I first started this, that when I did the statistics, most of this was actually done on the East Coast in New York. And when the statistics came through, I was so disappointed, but yet also optimistic. The disappointment is very little of it was done in the United States. I'm very thankful Canadians. They're incredible. Most of this was boarded in Canada. And the thing is most of the online work that was done by third world people who were so incredibly blessed and gracious that they were chosen to be part of the project. Some of them don't even know who I am. If you see a whole bunch of people on my profiles that are kids and that kind of stuff, let me kind of tell you something real quick. When you don't want somebody to bother you, you give yourself a crazy name. Or you create a name like your mom should have swallowed, okay? And you're like, most of the people that's on Facebook, my God, it's a horrible room. I won't go there. That's gross. That's precisely the point. Maybe that room was for IT guys to share information because we didn't want you to go there, right? And part of me used that to see how many people actually literally got curious about opening that up. Not a lot of people did. The thing is that served my purpose, okay? Because it was the best kept secret right out in the open. And yet, I can tell you third parties in between affected my equation. About halfway through this year, I thought, now I know there's a God. And I'll tell you why. And the reason why is it gave me standing. It gave me the experience I never would have had before. So, let me get it cleaned up and I'll come back. It's 10:50. Try to be back about 11:15. I'm telling you, this experience is going to be epic. Have a great day.